For a lot of people, the 1977 World Series was one of the most important championship events of the modern era. But what was kind of weird, how the Yankees were put together compared to the Dodgers. The Dodgers had players that came straight up in the system. Of course, Say, Russell, Lopes, and Garvey in the infield, and Baker and Monday and Landreau in the outfield, and other, significant players, Reggie Smith. But the Yankees were a built team from different franchises. They either gave them players or didn't feel the players were doing it in their system. Howard Cosell, in his announcing, basically said when Willie Randolph was at the plate, he said this is a long way for him playing in the boondocks of Quebec to the starting infielder of the Yankees in the 77 World Series. So I took that kind of an insult, but yet it's not really an insult, because when you play in Sherbrooke and Thetford Mines for baseball in the mid-1970s for Pittsburgh Pirate affiliates, it can be hard going. We'll get into what happened in Thetford after Sherbrooke moved their franchise there. So the Pirates' original franchise in Quebec was in the beautiful community of Sherbrooke. They were in the Double-A Eastern League, again representing that eastern community. They played in 72-73 and suited up at the Stade Amadeo Roy in Sherbrooke. Now, Pittsburgh at the time had a lot of young prospects that were impressing. The Eastern League expansion into Quebec started in 1971 when the Trois-Rivières Aigles and the Quebec Carnivals was initially very successful. Now, in 1971, the Waterbury Pirates had drew more than 64,000 fans, fifth in the 8-team league, and moved to Sherbrooke for 72. Although the 72 Pirates posed a winning record their maiden year in Sherbrooke, they did not make the playoffs, and attendance lagged far behind that of the other two Quebec teams at 66,100. The following season brought another winning but non-playoff team and a 6% increase in attendance. But at season's end, the Pirates moved to Thetford Mines, which was 104 kilometers, 65 miles to the north. Now, those teams had some very important players. League MVP Ken Macha, very big with the Canadian squads. The Mendoza line, Mario Mendoza. Tony Armas, who was a big success with Billy Ball in Oakland. And, of course, that submariner that everybody loves, Kent Tekulve. Now, when he moved to Thetford, this is where the great success for what he called the Quebec Pirates started. Now, the Thetford Mines, very beautiful community outside of what they call the key areas of Quebec. They played at the Stade Bellevue and were very, very popular in the media. Although the attendance didn't take part like they should, they were very big with the press, both English and French. After two winning but non-playoff teams again in Sherbrooke, the team squad moved to Thetford, located 104 kilometers to the north. For the 74 season, again, as the affiliate of the namesake Pirates. It was led by league all-star catcher and most valuable player Ken Macha, the future Major League Baseball manager. Now, Thetford Mines made the playoffs and defeated the Bristol Red Sox in the semis and the Pittsfield Rangers in the finals to win the Eastern League title. However, the club drew almost 50,000 fans less than they had in Sherbrooke during the 73 season. As a result, the MLB Pirates switched their Double-A affiliate to Shreveport, the captains of the Double-A Texas League, for 75. Now, they were replaced in Thetford Mines by the Milwaukee Brewers for 75, but the renamed Miners finished in 7th place, 22.5 games out of a playoff spot, and drew an anemic 16,000 fans all year. The franchise was eventually moved to Williamsport, Pennsylvania for 1976. Now, led by Tim Murtaugh, 75-65 record, 22,000 fans that year attended, bet the Bristol Red Sox and the Pittsfield Rangers 2-0 in their playoffs. Now, they finished 7th in 1975, 59-80, led by John Felsky. But in 139 games, you only drew 16,360. So you do the rough math of that, only getting close to 1,000 fans a game. Again, great players in the lineup, and these are legendary. Mike Jackson, Ken Macha, the great Jim Gattner, the future Brewer champion there from Milwaukee with the Brewer side. Tony Armas, of course. Omar Moreno, the Speed Demon. Willie Randolph, Craig Reynolds, and the great Len Sakata, who eventually won a World Series with the Orioles. Now, if you look at the old baseball registers from the era, from the 1970s and 80s, the Quebec era of minor league baseball shines through because Quebec and the Maritimes have always been supportive of minor league teams. Later on, we had various squads. Now, what really found it strange, ladies and gentlemen, I always thought that Major League Baseball would have a minor pro team in New Brunswick. Would have been tremendous, but maybe they chose Quebec better because it was better transportation, better corporate support. But Thetford Mines and Sherbrooke, the Pirates saw something. I'll give you an example why. The Pittsburgh Pirates were always very happy to support Quebec baseball. The Pirates were in Montreal's division. You had a big rivalry between the Stargell Pirates and the Expos of the late 1970s. Dave Cash had come over, of course, as part of free agency. Pittsburgh, again, decided to try it in Quebec, and it seemed to work for a little while, but we always say how the Montreal Expos and then the Toronto Blue Jays helped develop baseball in Quebec. I can tell you that all the Eastern League sponsors, Milwaukee and Pittsburgh and the other squads, they really, really helped baseball develop in Quebec. But Thetford Mines, or miners, or the Thetford Miners, and you're probably saying, why the Thetford Mines or miners? Well, of course, Thetford Mines. It's an industrial community just like Randolph and places like that, where the hometown legacy was industry towns. So, ladies and gentlemen, next time you see Willie Randolph in YouTube playing at the World Series, or Len Sakata, or the great Ken Tekulve, that's where you got to start, in Eastern Quebec. And boys, what a legacy. Thanks for listening. Bye.